guys, welcome to the Something About Tuesdays podcast. I'm your host, Phebe Joi. Join me every other Tuesday for a lighthearted podcast to keep you company while you do your thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Something About Tuesdays, episode 64. I'm your host, Phebe Joi, and hi, hey, and welcome. Hi everyone. I hope you guys have had an amazing last couple weeks. Mine have been pretty good. You guys, after a summer of doing not much other than, I guess, trying to grow a baby and staying around the house and just kind of going crazy, school has started. Now, I have to admit, I was nervous going back to work because of all kind of like the bed rest things that I was doing beforehand and the issues that I ran into, like going to the hospital, things like that, right beforehand. But going back to work hasn't been too bad. I will say it hasn't necessarily resolved other things, which we'll get into later. But it has been a nice little distraction in some ways. So I am back in school. School has started. I think when this came out, I had been at work for one day. And let me tell you guys, so because I am trying to be extra cautious with baby and with my activity level for various reasons, I I bring with me this pillow to sit on, a nice cushy pillow because I've read and I know that like hard chairs and like concrete and stuff isn't good for various reasons. But so I carried that around and I've, taken moments to relax and lay down. And my admin, like I said, they said they would be very accommodating and they have been, and it's been great. So anyway, so health wise, we're doing okay. Going back to work has been okay. I've still had some issues, like I said, but overall things have gone well. And let me just say, so that first day back, this is my very first note. That first day back on that Monday, they served us our lunch, okay? And for lunch, they had the lovely, wonderful Chick-fil-A, which I've been feeling anyway, but their chicken, particularly their little chicken nuggets. I mean, the chicken minis, whatever you want to call them, the chicken nugget thingies, they're my favorite. The fried ones, excellent. I think I've had the grilled before, which were pretty good, but the fried are just so good that I hardly ever get grilled unless I'm really trying to lose weight or something. But fried all day long. So they had their fried nuggets and they had a salad and they had fruit there. Our school provided that. And y'all, you wouldn't guess how many nuggets I ate. Y'all, this is hilarious and terrible. In one sitting, I did go back for seconds. So you could probably say two, even though it was back to back seconds. I ate 12 nuggets. Mm-hmm. And the salad and the fruit. Now, look, when I first went, I wasn't at the front of the line, I was like in the middle. So I got six nuggets, okay? Just six nuggets. Like that's normal. That's a normal size. So I got six nuggets. I got the salad. I got this avocado dressing, which was really good. And then I got some fruit, which was delicious. The mandarin oranges, y'all forget how good mandarin oranges are until I have them. I'm like, these are so sweet and yummy. So the mandarin oranges and the apples and the blueberries, which I'm not a fan of, but I ate them anyway. Um, excellent, yummy, yummy. And so after I finished eating it, I was like, I kind of still want some more. So tell me why. I went back again. This is after everybody had gone through the line. So I waited. I waited till everybody at least got their first helping. And I went back and unintentionally grabbed six more nuggets. And those are the nuggets that I put on my plate and left on my plate. I think there was a couple of little nuggets that I like ate while I was standing there. And if I ate one while I was standing there, I think I just replaced it. So you guys, it could have been like 14 nuggets, I think, by the end of it. Yeah. That's a lot, but they tasted so good. There was no regret had. It was delicious. It helped get through all the trainings that we had that day, which those first 2 days are, professional development, PDs, training, getting through all the things. The bloodborne pathogens training that came later. That next Wednesday we had the day to do them all, which I don't think I did that day anyway. I don't know what I did. But I don't think I did the trainings on that day. I ended up doing them after work throughout the week. But yeah, all of that. The first couple of days trainings, the kids came back on Thursday. And there's always the first day of schools. It's great, it's epic. As and this isn't my first year being a non-classroom teacher, and being a non-classroom teacher, it's just it's interesting because we are part of the Get 'em Home team, so we're part of making sure we know how the kids are getting home. Usually on that first day, our motto is, "Get them here, get them fed, get them home," right? Like, that's what we wanna do on day 1, get everybody fed, get everybody home safely. And that can be look chaotic. Some parents are like, okay, they're gonna go home in a car today, maybe tomorrow, but then starting next week they're gonna be in the bus, or maybe they're gonna walk, or maybe they're gonna be in the bus and then they're gonna be in a car. And what you don't want to do, right, is send a kid home on a bus who parents picking them up in the car because who's going to be at the stop or at the bus stop, and you don't want to, of course, send some kid in a car and then people are waiting, but like there's so much to it and so much double checking that needs to happen. And that's what kind of like the first day of school looks like for the non-classroom teacher side. And it can be a bit chaotic, but it wasn't too bad. Now the cool thing is, so I have to do part of my duty as a non-classroom teacher is we are assigned early morning duty and afternoon duty. So my duty for both times are car rider, which I do enjoy, because I love greeting the kids in the morning. Good morning, hi, good to see ya. Especially if I know their names, and I try to quickly learn their names and greet them by name and be like, so glad to see you here. Have a fantastic day. Just little things like that. I definitely enjoy car rider in the morning, and then of course sending them out. That's fun. Like, okay, go, go, go to your car. But the interesting thing is, so when I have car rider in the morning on these days, I get to see those kindergartners that come in and to see the different, how do I put this? The different reactions on kindergartners on their first day, and how they perceive things. So I'm going to tell y'all just about two kindergartners, with maybe three, with three different point of views on school on that first day of school. And let me say, so when it comes to kindergarten, at least in a public school, at least in the school that I work at, you parents are not permitted in the building, and that's for safety reasons. I think, like, back in the day, parents used to be able to, walk their kids all the way to the classroom, have a long goodbye. But these days, because we don't know who people are and what their intentions are, and our job is to keep every kid safe, regardless if their parents bring them or not, we generally do not let parents in the building. And if we do, in the front office, they can't go past the lobby. And so sometimes parents are surprised. Now, if they come to open house, then they have met the parents and seen the classrooms and stuff already. But on that first day, they're not permitted to go to the classroom door. And so sometimes parents are surprised, particularly in the car rider line, when that's where they say goodbye. They say goodbye at that back door, and and it can be a little bit, I guess, traumatizing for some kindergartners and for some parents as well. So we have this one little guy, and for this last week and a half that we've been in school, he's done so much better these last few weeks, but he had a couple days. There was one day, y'all, this little dude, he was struggling. He had like getting out of his car. He was like, no, no quiero la escuela, or something about I don't want to go to school. No, no, no la escuela. And y'all, it was sad but kind of funny and precious. Like, he was just not feeling it. He was like, I don't want to go to school, crying, throwing a fit, laying on the ground, made himself throw up, like all these things. And the parents were like, we're so sorry. I think it was maybe mom, maybe aunt, maybe grandma, I'm not sure. But they're like, we're trying our best. And so for the first few days, they would like get him out of the car and then like rush back in the car and like, try to leave. They would try to help some. But once we realized it was a pattern, they're like, okay, we just got to get this kid in the building. And so I mean, poor little guy was having a rough old time. But I would have to say, by the end of the week, we did not see that behavior. In fact, he had family, like one of his cousins or something, easily walked him in the building. And we all held our breath. We were like, is this the day? Is this the day he's going to go inside by himself? And you guys, it was the day he went inside. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. And we were like, whew, like, without the tears, without the crying, without the screaming. He went in and we were like, yes, a success. So that was good. But then there was another little guy, and this was at our open house. Just his response was too funny. So at the open house, particularly this was a kindergarten open house, so only the kindergartners were there. The kindergartners were going to go and kind of have like a mini kindergarten camp day for an hour or two, and their parents would go to meetings to learn more about the school. And so when it was time to separate him and his mom, he was very like, oh, I'm not sure about this, but then he got excited and he was like, okay, and he he was like kind of skipping in the hallway, and then he tried to do a flip. And y'all, this is a big kindergartner. He was about as tall as he's round, right? And he round as he is tall. I said that backwards, but he's precious, and um he comes in. Now I see him in the mornings, and he comes in smiling and just ready to come to school. And I'm like, I love that. And then the last kindergarten I want to share is this one little girl who, you guys, this is the like ideal kindergartner. She's so cute. Okay, first off, she's tiny. She's cute. She got out of the car by herself and she was standing there. We were tagging her and she was like, "Good morning." And we're like, "Oh, good morning." And we were like, "Are you in kindergarten?" "Yes." And we're like, "Are you excited about today?" "Yes, I like school," or "I can't wait to go to school," or something like that, or "I'm ready for today." It was so cute. I was like, "Oh, yes." And she smiled like every morning she smiles and just walks in the building and just so cute and independent and I love it. And she's a doll. She is just a sweet little thing. So these kindergartners, I mean, I love seeing my kids who've returned. I'm like, "Hey, so and so, have a good summer." Yeah. It's good seeing how they've grown up and they've changed and they've gotten taller. But there is something super sweet about this kindergartners who come in and their different reactions, and all of it's normal, right? If you have a crier, it's normal. If you have a runner, it's normal. If you have a happy kid, it's normal. If your kid is different every day, it's normal. It's For some kids, it's just a change. It's just how they respond and react. But it is cute to see, and it is nice to see their development, like the one little guy from no escuela, to walking in the building with the support of his family, but walking in without needing any adult to let him in. Like that's cute. That's growth already. So love that. The first little bit of school has been going well. Um, I would have to say, oh no, you guys, that's so funny. Okay, so I was looking at my notes because I think that was all I was going to share about kindergarten. And then I remembered, apparently I have four little kindergartners that stood out to me. And I told my mom and dad about this, I think yesterday, because this happened not too long ago. I'm recording this Saturday, and I think this happened yesterday. I think this was, yeah, Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. So this one little girl, precious little thing. So I had two that had maybe not the best responses, and then two that had great responses. So this is my other one who maybe didn't have the best response to coming to school. And there was this one little girl, cute as a button, and she's the youngest of like five kids. We've had all her siblings. All of them were great. Love them all. I definitely had one of them in my class back when I was a teacher, and another one wasn't in my class, but in like my co-teacher's class. But anywho, so it was a movie moment, a sad movie moment. So she was our last little kid coming in, and mom was bringing her in, and mom knew to, I'm gonna walk her to the door and leave her. So she walked her to the door, and my other teacher and I were like, "Come on in," and we're holding her hand and trying to hold her hand, I should say, because she is bawling her eyes out and saying, "Mama, Mama." I know, it was so sad. And then you guys, when we were taking her in the building and mom like let the door close and like the outside door kind of start to close, she reached her little arm out, the kindergartner, straight out. Imagine like reach your arm out straight in front of you, all fingers spread out wide, and then just lean and be like, "Mom," and like lean forward, like your mom is leaving you and you're just reaching. It was like a movie moment, like reaching for someone who's about to like be swept away or something. It was so sad, but like the cutest little movie moment. I'm like, oh, and then she's just like, "Mom, Ma." And this was common. Like she had done it every single day up to this point, but it was just that little outstretched hand. And I was like, oh my goodness, like that's obviously that's tough on her. And I'm like, I wonder, mom seemed to be like, okay, this is, day 7 of this. I think we're okay. But at the same time, I bet mom was probably a little sad too. I don't know if she's the youngest in the family. I can't remember if she has any younger siblings. But imagine if that was like your youngest. Mom brought that point up to me. She's like, it could have been sad for mom if she was like the youngest one, being like, oh, my youngest is in kindergarten. Um, I don't know how I'll be. You guys, I thought about that. I was like, how am I going to be when my kid goes to kindergarten? Like, am I going to cry? I don't think I'm going to cry because I'm not a crier. Like, a lot of people cry over, different things, I guess. Generally, I like to think I cry when I'm sad. Um, and I don't. I mean, I might be sad when my kid goes to kindergarten, but I want them to, like I was like, I don't know. I'm not a parent of a 5-year-old. I don't know how that is. So maybe I will cry. I don't think I will, but if I do, y'all keep me in check and be like, remember when you said you weren't gonna cry? We'll see. We'll see when we get there, right? But for the time being, though, that was the first week and a half of school went really well. It went well on my end. We, were able to get all the kids home for the most part, just a couple of hiccups here and there. But every kid ended up being safe. The kids this year, there's a different vibe to our students, and I think it's good. I think it's a good vibe. Um, and so that's a good feeling, right? And we have a lot of new teachers. This is the first time I think we've been fully staffed, mostly fully staffed. We still need 3 assistants, um, but that we've had like every classroom teacher position filled in a little while. And so that's so nice to start the school like, okay, we've got a whole crew, like we're all in this together, and it feels great. So I feel like it's going to be a good year. I hope so. Um, I hope I, enjoy it for as long as I can into, December, and then at the end of next year in like May, April, May. Um, we will see, y'all. I am excited. I think it'll be a good year, at least like students wise. And I think it'll be a good year for me too. I hope so. I look forward to the fact that I'm like just trying to make it to December. I hope I make it to December, you guys. I'm not trying to go in bed rest. We will see. But and then, take my time in January with my baby, hopefully then. And yeah, so anyway, so last couple weeks of school went well. I'm sure I'll have updates with you as we start to interact with the students more. One thing we're doing different this year as ELD teachers is we're doing a whole lot of co-teaching. And this is going to be so new for us. Like we always did pushing before, but they're really pushing this co-teaching model, which I'm not really sure I'm feeling. I didn't feel it when I was in the classroom per se. I liked some aspects of it, but I wasn't. I don't know. Like I think this is going to take a lot of buy-in for all the teachers involved. I don't think they know what's coming. So that's going to be new for all of us. That's going to be new for me. I'm curious how I'm going to navigate that and everything else. We'll see. Well, I think it'll be good, but y'all know. I'll tell you all about it anyway. And I'm sure I'll also have some lovely kid moment stories with all of our students there. So anyway, all right. In the last couple weeks, that's kind of like my recap of school. But I have other things, of course, y'all know, of just random thoughts. And I think look, y'all, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. So this is a continuation of, I think a long time ago I mentioned how some animals have names that just fit them. And I think the example I used was a grizzly bear. I don't know if you if you remember that, you holler at me and be like, yes, I do. Um, because again, I heard about the grizzly bear and I was like, that just fits that animal. Like the grizzly bear, like grizzly. Like when you think of the word grizzly, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been on a word kick lately. I don't know why. Like the last few days, a word kick. So that grizzly bear just stood out to me. I'm like, yeah, that fits like a grizzly. It sounds intimidating, like versus a teddy bear, right? The grizzly bear, like that definitely fits. And so of course I was like some other names that kind of fit. Like I think sloths, like a sloth fits, right? And sometimes I wonder, I'm like, okay, do we identify the animal and come up with its characteristics and then come up with a name like sloth? Or do we name the animal and then it just happens, like then we take on the characteristics of that animal? You know what I mean? Like you kind of see what I'm trying to say. Like when I think of a shark, right? I think of like the shark, and I feel like that fits a shark. But what if, like, is that because we already named it a shark and therefore it seems to fit? Or did we look at the characteristics and decide, ooh, that seems like a shark? You guys see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's just kind of where my thought was going. Because I was like, okay, like butterfly, you wouldn't call a shark a butterfly but that's because we already kind of know what butterflies are. But what if they were switched? What if butterflies were sharks and sharks were butterflies? Like, would it still fit? Would all of a sudden our idea of what a butterfly is or what a shark is change? Right? I don't know. And one thing that made me think that, you guys know, I think it was a meme or something that was talking about butterfly in different languages. And then like German, it's something like schmecks. Oh, what is it in German? I can't think of it now, but it's something very like non-elegant sounding. Because I'm like, okay, like our words seem to fit mostly, I think. But but what came first, right? The characteristic or the word? Anyway, so I thought about that randomly. Um, but because of that, I was also thinking of like kid names, right? Like, what's in a name? Because obviously, you guys, I'm gonna start thinking about kids' names. I mean, I'm not fully thinking about kids' names yet, honestly, but I'm starting to a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I feel like it would be so hard to name a kid without like knowing what kind of kid they are, you know? Like you're kind of taking a chance. Like, what if you name your kid some type of go-getter name and then your kid's really chill? Or you name your kid like something very chill and they're just a go-getter. Like, I don't know. So I'm like, is that or maybe like will they grow into the name that you give them or will they still be themselves regardless of what name you've given them, right? Will there be like for example, if you use the name of a family member, like if I name a kid after my dad or my husband's father, or even my husband, or my grandfather, or something like that, or my grandma, or my mom, or me, or my sister. Like if I name them after somebody, are they going to have this unconscious, subconscious, not unconscious, some subconscious kind of expectation to carry on certain characteristics, to be more family oriented, to think about who they're named after? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Because everybody thinks about their name and the meanings of their name. Like for my name, Phoebe, bright and shining, I think is what it means, Greek origin. And so I'm like, okay, I like to think I fit that. Like, that's how I want to be. That's a characteristic I want to have. But what if I was named something different? Would my personality be different? I don't know. Anyway, I know you're all like, what? But these are the things that I've been thinking about. Um, and yeah, like, tell me your thoughts. And if you've ever, obviously, if you've had a child before and you named your kid, did it work out for you? Like, let's say they're grown up now, right? Like, did you pick a good name that seemed to fit them? Did they grow into their name or did their name kind of shape who they were? I don't know. I don't know if that's something you can answer, but it is something that I think about. Anywho, so along with that, though, I have been trying to collect some of my favorite words. I noticed that I heard someone else say a word that I always say. They said dichotomy, and I was like, oh, I love that word. I use that word a lot, like the dichotomy of two different things, right? And if you ask me the exact definition, I don't know the exact definition, but in my brain, it's like it's when you've got two opposite things that stand out because of each other, right? Like there's black and then there's white, but if you put them next to each other, there's black and white, right? Like they stand out more. I don't know. So the dichotomy of things that the standing out of differences is kind of how I put it. I don't know the exact definition, but I like to use the word dichotomy. And I was like, what other words do I like to use? And another word that I like to use is reconcile. And the way that I use that is like I often use it in the sense of, two different things, two different ideas that are that don't seem to agree, two different thought processes or two different events or two different mostly ideas that don't seem to agree and you have to reconcile the two. Like, I believed this about you, but then this happened or this you did this action. So now I'm trying to reconcile the two, right? Like that's how I use it. And so that just got me thinking like what words do you find yourself using often and in what context? Like you might use reconcile often, but you might not use it obviously in the same way that I do. You might use reconcile when you think about relationships. Let's reconcile. Somebody did something wrong, so now we need to reconcile, right? And so, yeah, so that just got me thinking and wondering and being interested in words again. Not again. I've always been interested in words. Y'all know that. I still do play my word games from the New York Times, which is hilariously not as much as I did back before I paid for it. But I have made up for it in some ways because if you buy the subscription, then you can like go back and do old ones. So even if I miss a day, I will try to go back and do some old ones. So while I don't do it every day, I will like have one day where I do like 10 different like wordles in a row or the little mini crossword puzzles or what's the one that I like? You guys know what's the one? I can't think of it now. Connections. I like the connections one. That one's a pretty fun one. That's the one I think I do the most. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, it's the New York Times app. If you like words at all, I would download it. And and just play you a couple word games. It's fun. It has Sudoku on there too if you want a little something with math, but most of it is word related. And it's fun. It's fun little things to do. You do not have to pay for it. The free one you get I think free pretty much a sample of everything each day, but it's just one of those like you can only do it once a day and you can't go back if you've missed a day. Whereas if you pay for it, you get to go back and do different days and things like that. So that's kind of the perk. And y'all, I know y'all remember when I told you, I think when did I purchase this? Back in April, I think it was like $20 a year. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead. It was 11 o'clock at night. Y'all know how it is. And I purchased it then, but I am trying to take advantage of it. I think I will probably cancel my subscription before May of next year, depending. I don't know. We'll see. But anywho, so I have been thinking about words. And another thing that I was going to throw out there. So, segment of I need to have like segment introductions. I was listening to one of my podcast people, and for like every segment that they do frequently enough, there's like some type of introduction to it, some type of song or something. This is again what's on Phoebe's algorithm segment, and y'all know it's food related. And what I've been looking at this time has been Master Chef clips. I know, on my Facebook page, not even on my Instagram. But I've been watching like them cooking, and the one I think that I like the most is when there's like a dish and they have to like recreate it or something, and I'm like, oh, let's see who got it right, you know. So y'all, I tell you what, yeah, that's what's on my algorithm is MasterChef and still food, you guys. That being said, you should be quite proud of me, because I actually did make a dish. This is so funny because this was not something that I saw on to be inspired by, but I thought of it, and then I promise you, after I made it, I saw like 20 million different reels and ads for it, and that is fried rice. Tonight, I tried my hand at making fried rice for the first time. And y'all, so let me just explain what kind of chef I am, okay? I, I'm not much of a cook. I don't like to spend time cooking. A big reason for that is I hate measuring things, figuring out things. Like you need just enough of this and just enough of that. And I'm more like, let's just mix it all together and see what happens. And that doesn't always work out, so I don't cook often. But so with the fried rice, let me tell you my easy go-to fried rice recipe because I did not do it as the recipe said, but I think it still turned out okay. So my husband had made just some regular rice. And that tonight he had made some regular rice and some chicken and steak, and he just mixes it together and does his thing. And I was like, I think I want to try some fried rice. And he's like, go at it. So with his extra fried rice, which already I'm making a mistake because if you look at any fried rice recipe, they're all like use day-old fried rice, right? Chilled day-old fried rice. So I did not do that. I used tonight's fried rice, which he had put in the refrigerator. So I grabbed that out of the refrigerator, and this is exactly what I did. And if you're a chef, please don't cringe. And if you're someone like me who's like, oh, okay, this seems pretty easy, feel free to follow this recipe. So I had my frying pan out. I put like a cap of vegetable oil because I knew you needed some type of oil, so I just put a cap of vegetable oil in it. And then I put 2 eggs in there and let it like cook up just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And then I threw in the rice and and then I did not have frozen vegetables. So y'all, I took some canned vegetables, drained that liquid out, threw some not the whole can, I think half the can of the canned vegetables in there, canned mixed vegetables. So it had carrots, potatoes, I think, and green beans. And then I added a spoonful of minced garlic, because why not? And then I added onion salt, I think garlic salt, seasoned salt, pepper, and then I put some soy sauce on there and just mix it all together. And then let it fry up a little bit. And at first it was kind of soggy, which I think maybe is why you're supposed to use day old fried rice. But then then I let it use my spatula and like flattened it out a little bit so it can get crispy on the bottom. And then I'd flip it over and let it continue to crisp around the edges and stuff. And it wasn't too bad. Like that was it. It really wasn't too bad. It didn't take a lot of effort. I didn't measure hardly anything. I just used I just used kind of whatever I felt like I would see at like hibachi places. If I'd have thought about it, I might have thrown some butter in there. I don't know what else goes in there. But it turned out pretty good. So I was quite proud of myself. I was like, go you for cooking something. Um, and I gave my husband a bite and he was like, yeah, not bad. Did he eat more than that bite? No. But he said he was full and that was the reason why. So it wasn't because it wasn't very good. It's just that he had already eaten. So anywho, so I did that and that was good. Now the other thing that's happened is our state fair has opened up. And y'all know I love the state fair. I love to go. Not because it's great per se, but it's just, I don't know, it's fun. It feels like this is our state, it builds camaraderie. I have no idea. I just like to go. I like to do the little booths. I like to buy the dips and the foods and all that stuff. And so I did not get to go this year. It's still going on, but I won't be attending because I walking around for a couple hours in the heat, even in the inside, is probably not the best at the moment. So my mom and sister got to go without me, and they took lots of pictures and sent them to me and made me jealous. But they had saw some beautiful quilts and the cakes, and of course, I was like, "You guys have to buy me my regular stuff," and so they did. They bought popcorn. I love the different season popcorns. Now, my regular bakery person who's there for my cookies and stuff, we're not there this year, so I was very sad about that. Um, but I got my dips, mom got me soup, got the popcorn, and I got my pickles. And you guys, I'm not like the pregnant person who's like, oh, I just crave pickles. I don't crave pickles, but I do like them. And I haven't eaten pickles in a long, long time. So I'm not saying it's related to the pregnancy, but maybe it is because I've been like, pickles are good. But I think I like them because they're cold. I get hot. And when I get hot, I just want something cold and I want something in my mouth, right? And sometimes I don't want to drink something, but a pickle. Like it's just that kind of, I guess, the crunch and the coolness and the strong flavor, I guess, without like that, I guess the sour flavor, um, just tastes good. It's the salt. That's what it is. I like the salty flavor of it. So it's the salt, coolness of the pickle that seems good to me. So they got me some pickles, which I've already gotten into and enjoyed. And let's see what else. Oh, and then they got my regular my police gear, which is like all the little free souvenir stuff that the police give out. I try to get that every year. I'm like, represent hubs. So yeah, so I'm sad that I am not able to attend the state fair this year, but at least I still got to, enjoy some of the things. So if you get a chance to go to a state fair, go to your state fair, depending what state you're in, um, I would say do it at least for like the little things, like the little fun things, the little booths. They're just fun. Um, but I've heard that some state fairs are like amazing. I'd be kind of curious to go to different state fairs, honestly, especially if they have like different food options and flavors and like different things. Like we last year we had this barbecue like sauce person, and I asked my mom, I was like, when you go back, can you look to see if they were there because these like homemade barbecue sauces from just local people is really good, and I like buying the local stuff. Like obviously, I don't do it all the time because I just go to the store. But at the state fair, it's like, yes, we're gonna support our people. We're gonna support whoever you are, fellow state people doing what they do. And so, yeah, so that was good. I live vicariously through my mom and my sister. I didn't get to enjoy it, but alas, I still get to enjoy it with the things that they bought me. All right, so I did want to give you guys just I mean, part of my life, the last couple weeks have been being pregnant. I have now reached 16 weeks. Woohoo! When this comes out, I'll be 16 weeks, going on 17 weeks. And I am excited about that. Now, I've had a couple of visits to the doctors I have to tell you all about. Nothing related to my health per se, just my regular like things I notice wherever I go out and about. So I went to my one of my OB people, my high risk doctor. And what y'all, this is just another moment where I was like, I mean, I'm learning to appreciate my age, but oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I was sitting there in the high risk office, and while I'm sitting there, there's a couple other couples that are there, and there's this young couple, and they're filling out their paperwork, okay? and it's time for them to write, I guess, their birthdays. And the girl's filling it out. So she's talking to her husband, whoever he was, partner, fiance. And when they say their birthdays, they're like 1997, 1998 in my brain. Like I know that that's not young. I was born in 89. So I know that's like less than 10 years than me and I'm 35, so they're like, 26, 27, 28. I get it. That's a great age to have a child. That's not young. But my brain, when I heard 1997, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, y'all, these 97, this 1990s babies are having children. And I get it. And y'all, I know 2000s kids have had children. It's it's a funky thing. That's all I'm saying. It's great. No, I'm glad. It's just when you're the older person, it's just like, wow. Wow. Y'all, I never thought I'd be an older mom, but here we are. I'm gonna have to live this life. I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, and I was like, you know what? When you're like in your teens, you're like, my 20s are gonna be the best years ever. And then when I was in my 20s, I was like, you know what? My 30s, they're gonna rock. Y'all, I'm getting mid 30s. I'm like, you know what? 40s. I think 40s are gonna be it. My 40s are going to be the best decade ever. And I know I still have, half a decade to go before I get there, but y'all, it's coming quick. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to look at this with positive attitude. It doesn't matter that I'm going to be 40 with a 5-year-old, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, so that just reminded me of my place in the world, being an older parent, that advanced maternal age, intimidating, um, not fun to hear, but it is what it is type thing. And I'm like, man, like I'm gonna be that parent in the car rider line that's just, or like who attends the kindergarten meetings and they're like, is this your grandma? No, it's my mom. Um, Y'all, if the podcast is still going on like that far into the future, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what advanced maternal age parenting looks like and how it feels like because it's got to be different, okay? So we're gonna talk about that. But anywho, it was cute. They were a precious couple. And it was just I was just like, man, I know they're not like babies. They're not babies, but for whatever reason, I feel like if you're born in the 90s and past, you're just a baby and you're not, you're grown. But it just feels that way. And saying like 1980 something, it just feels, y'all, it feels different. Because the people who were born in 2000, they're in their 20s, y'all. 20s. Somebody born in 2000, they're gonna be 25 this year. That's a grown adult. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, anyway, it was funny to hear them say that. So then the other thing, so y'all know my hematologist office. This is my older people office. And I just have to comment because y'all, it just is what it is. So when I went there in the morning, there was like a ton of people there, like 15 people. And of course, I'm like the youngest person there. Now, I've been there before where I haven't been, well, I might have been the youngest, but there were other people, I guess, similar to my age that were there. But this time it was all the old people again. And it was nice. And then just a moment happened, which just reminded me like, like older people are fun. You got to hang out with them. And there was this guy, it was this older gentleman. I don't know how old he is, just know older gentlemen, they're all older. And his I've always joked that, when they're on their phone, like older people, they don't put things on silent or anything like that. And they're loud, like they talk on speakerphone. Well, this guy was the perfect example of that. So not only did his phone go off in the middle of his waiting room, which is relatively quiet, other than the older people talking to each other, he it goes off, but it's the alarm one. You guys know the one ringtone that's like, yeah, yeah, that was actually pretty good, wasn't it? No, that went off. Okay, so here you got this guy whose phone is sounding like an alarm in the middle of this waiting room, and nobody really responds other than to look up and be like, "What is that?" And of course, he doesn't answer it within 2 seconds. We got several sounds. And so then he answers it, right? So most people would just turn it off, maybe call him later, maybe exit the room to get on the phone. No. This guy answers his phone. It is turned up as loud as it can be because we heard every word. And it was somebody from another doctor's office. And they were like, hey, we heard you like to reschedule your colonoscopy. And I was like, oh my goodness. And he was like, yes, please. He's like, I don't have to reschedule it right now, thankfully. He's like, but yes, I do need to reschedule that. And she was like, all right. So we just heard that whole conversation. The entire waiting room heard that whole conversation. I was just like, oh boy, like, it is what it is. It is what it is. So in one office, I'm like the older person. I'm sure they're looking at me being like, oh, she's, in her midlife right now. And then I go to the other office and I'm the younger person and I'm like, oh, look at them. It's just funny, like how where your environment changes, your perspective changes, from being the old one to being the young one. That's why you just kind of have to live your life, right? Because yeah, it's cool to see both sides, the dichotomy of it, the young and the old. But anywho, all right, you guys. So, my last thing with my pregnancy updates, just for those of you who care, and if you know someone who's going through similar, that's the one reason I'm like, okay, I'll share a little bit about some of what I'm going through because it can help other people. I am currently on, so because of some issues that I've had, I have now started steroids this week. Okay. And I've been on steroids before for other, I think, autoimmune type stuff. So I'm back on them. And let me tell y'all, like if y'all see my little round face, okay, I was like, people aren't gonna know where this is coming from. They're gonna be like, she's quite round now. Is it just because she's eating a lot lately? Is it because she's pregnant, or is it because of the steroids? Y'all, it's a mixture of all of them. So if you see me just rolling up, okay, round face and all, okay, just smile and be like, hey, you're glowing. Now I've heard. I don't know. I do not consider it a compliment, but I'm not offended by it. In the last couple of weeks, I've had, I think two, maybe three, I think three people who have said, you look pregnant. Now, y'all, what is that supposed to mean? Okay, I'm not offended by it because my response is, I am pregnant. Like, thank you. Like, I'm glad I look pregnant because I am pregnant. But I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like, I mean, does that mean, that I just seem more, rounder than normal? You know? Y'all, I'm just like, okay. I'm trying to just let it ride, just be a pregnant person, gain what I need to and etc. But sometimes people are making it hard. All right. So if you come up to me and you tell me I look pregnant, I won't be offended, but I'm not taking it as a compliment, okay? Anywho, so that's been my last few weeks. So like I said, so I'm 16 weeks. You guys, I still haven't made my post on Facebook. I just haven't. I've told people in person, I've told more people as I come across people, I'll tell them. It's kind of funny because when you don't like, there's people I want to tell and I have no idea how to say it. Like, because there's not, like, there's got to be the right time, right? Like, do you just walk up and say, hey, I'm pregnant? Oh, 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 there's so much behind that statement. So it's been, and I did do that to a friend of mine this week. When I turned 16 weeks, it was on Friday. And I was feeling good walking down the hallway. And our security guard was like, hey, how you feeling? I said, I'm feeling good. I'm 16 weeks today. And I think that was the first, he was like, oh, congratulations. Like, wow. And so like I shared that very quickly. And I still haven't shared it with everybody, but I do share it with people I talk to. And the people I tell, I'm like, it's not a secret. I mean, I said I haven't shared it with everybody. Like I haven't posted it. But it's not a secret per se. Like you don't have to try to hide it if someone asks you, don't lie about it. It's fine. Um, but yeah, but I still haven't made my post yet. And I don't know why. I don't know if I'm waiting out of fear, waiting to get further along. This week, this between 16 and 17 week is kind of when I lost my girl last time. So it's kind of a wonky time for me anyway. Um, and so yeah, I haven't posted anything yet. You guys, I'll be having the baby before I post anything. No, I don't want to wait that long. But I don't know why. I just haven't posted anything. I guess I'm not motivated enough to yet, I guess. Maybe waiting for the right energy, the right time, the right words. I'm not really sure. But it's coming. I will post something at some point. But yeah, so I do feel like the pregnancy is progressing well. I think my doctors on point. Like they're definitely, keeping track of me and trying to do what's best for my body and for the baby as well. And so that's good. I do feel slightly less nauseous this week. Woohoo! So that's good. I guess getting firmly into my second trimester, hopefully that'll go away. But overall, I think things are going well so far. Y'all know I'll keep you posted regardless of anything. But yeah, so I want to end on just a song segment, a music segment, and the song is actually, so it's an old song, but it is, I guess, a cover to the song. So the song is More Than Anything. I love you, Jesus. That one. It's been my song before. I do not think this specific version has been my song before. Um, but it's so good. I worship and adore you. Okay. So the guy who it's a guy. So if you like guitar, it's actually the guy's playing a bass. I had no idea he was playing a bass. I mean, it felt a little lower than a guitar, but y'all, it all looked the same. But apparently, it's not just a bass. Apparently, he's playing a left-handed bass with his right hand like upside down or something. Wild. I know, right? So people who are like musicians are like, that's super talented. Like he's doing that very well. It sounded amazing, like regardless. Um, but when I found out that, I was like, wow, he's really good. So it's this guy named Bernard Harris. You can type in B Harris More Than Anything on YouTube, and he plays, and then he brings his wife up, and she sings just like part of it. Y'all, it's good. It's just good. So if you need a reminder, if of just, I don't even know if a reminder, if you just need a moment, if you need a moment where you're like, Jesus, I love you more than anything. Like to just forget kind of what's going on in the world for the moment, for that time being, and just be like, I just want to tell you that I love you more than anything. Um, I worship and adore you. Just want to tell you, Lord, I love you more than anything. And so, yeah, so I would go listen to that. Fantastic. Oldie but a goodie. Like I said, it may have been my music segment before, but I don't think it was that exact one. The one I might have given might have been the IBC version with Jessica DiGiovanni. Feel free to look that up too. But yeah, so that was just encouraging to listen to. It uplifted me in my moment. Not like a moment of sadness or anything, but just when I came across it, I was like, oh, this is good. Thank you, God, for the reminder. Like I know it might be weird to say like that God's reminding me that I love him, but it was kind of like a reminder, like, hey, we have a relationship here, and this is good. And it was just sweet, and I loved it. So I just thought I would share that with you guys. But yeah, so that's it. That's been my last couple of weeks. In the next little bit, you guys, we're progressing right along. We'll see if I share. I think I might share by the time the next episode comes out on Facebook, and I might let y'all know how that goes. But if not, you'll be hearing me at the end of the next episode be like, I still haven't told anybody. We will see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing next couple of weeks. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in a bit.